Serving southern New Mexico, this is the award-winning KRWG-TV News 22, where news matters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Samantha Dates.
And I'm Ben Schlittler. Alan R. Shoho, former Dean and Professor of the School of Education at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, has been named New Mexico State University's new Provost and Chief Academic Officer. Chancellor Dan Arvizu announced that Shoho will begin his new role on April 17th. NMSU welcomes Shoho to the Aggie family.
A man is still sitting in jail tonight after a judge delayed his sentencing. Jose Daniel Chavez pled guilty to attempted first-degree murder and tampering with evidence after shooting a Planet Fitness employee in August 2021. During the Monday hearing, the judge requested a report from the New Mexico Department of Corrections before the hearing would continue. Chavez could face over 10 years in prison. Hannah is next with a first look at the weather.
Thanks, Samantha. Those winds were starting to roll in on campus earlier this afternoon. We can see those leaves blowing, and those clouds are starting to come in for tomorrow, which we will be on a high wind alert, and I'll have more on that in your national forecast. But taking a look at our current conditions right now, we are looking at mostly cloudy skies with a temperature of 59 degrees. Winds are kicking up from the southwest at 21 miles per hour. Our humidity at 51%, our dew point at 41 degrees, and our barometer reading at 29.51 inches. Looking at today overall, we did have that overall high of 61 degrees, which is right below our average of 63 degrees. And we had that overnight low of 41 degrees. Taking it back in time, in 1986, we had the overall high of 80 degrees. And in 1964, that low of 12 degrees. We did receive some little rainfall today, 0.02 of an inch, which puts our yearly rainfall at 51/10 of an inch. That's all I have for your first look. I'll be back with your national forecast later on in the show. Back to Samantha for more news.
The New Mexico Supreme Court has rejected the appeal of New Mexican politician who attended the January 6th U.S. Capitol riots. Former county commissioner and Cowboys for Trump founder Coy Griffin was let go from his position and charged with a misdemeanor for attending the riots back in 2021. This case lines up with a new policy proposed by Democratic lawmakers that would prohibit those convicted in the riots from holding a public office position. Griffin has accused the New Mexico Supreme Court of suppressing his free speech and plans on taking his case to a national level. A former New Mexico Congresswoman is up for nomination as the next Deputy Secretary for the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Xochitl Torres-Small was nominated by the New Mexico congressional delegation this past Wednesday. Torres-Small won her congressional bid in 2018, but lost her re-election in 2020 to Republican Representative Yvette Harrell. She is currently acting as the Undersecretary to the agency, focusing on rural development.
The Biden administration is expected to roll out a new asylum restriction as soon as Tuesday. The new rule would affect migrants who travel through other countries en route to the U.S.-Mexico border from applying for asylum. Most migrants go through several countries on their way to the U.S. It has put President Biden at odds with allies who argue his approach copies the Trump administration. The new rule is similar to a policy proposed during the Trump era. Downtown El Paso has some new visitors, and their journey is just now beginning.
This is a typical day in downtown El Paso near the Sacred Heart Church. Migrants hanging out and playing in the streets till they can find work and get to where they want to be. And Sacred Heart is just one of the organizations that provides shelter to migrants whenever they arrive here.
People and organizations around the El Paso and Las Cruces community are doing their best to help provide aid to these migrants.
In late December of 2022, hundreds of migrants flooded into downtown El Paso, and organizations like the Sacred Heart Church came to the rescue. Priest Rafael Garcia told KFOX in El Paso, "We help any family that comes to the door, with limitation because we have a limited amount of space." He says other churches in the area and the Red Cross should help as well. Mayor Oscar Leeser even hired buses to take the migrants to New York and Chicago.
The churches help too much. Eat, lunch, dinner, it's okay, it's good.
And they give him clothing.
You know, the boxes is for the jeans, for the shirt.
Carlos is from Venezuela, and he expects to leave El Paso in just a few days and reunite with his brother in Houston, where he hopes to find work.
I'm waiting for the paper because maybe 2-3 days me going to Houston because and Mexican work.
He is appreciative to everyone who's helped him and is happy he has made new friends in the streets of downtown El Paso. Jacqueline Aragon, News 22.
Stay tuned. Hannah will be back with your national forecast, and later, Michael will have the scoop on sports. February is Black History Month, and NMSU is marking the occasion with lots of events. Black History Month is all about recognizing the history of African Americans. NMSU is celebrating with a program that includes events where all students can get to know each other. Events includes a large dinner for students and a movie as a way for them to socialize with one another.
We came up with a calendar of events to celebrate Black History Month because our students here at NMSU, Black students and everybody, not just Black students, but all students, deserve to celebrate the history that is Black history.
We have a recall involving a popular baby formula. Formula manufacturer Reckitt says it is voluntarily recalling 145,000 cans of its Pro-Sobi Simply Plant-Based infant formula. The company says the recall is out of fear that the bacteria might have contaminated the formula. So far, there is no evidence that the bacteria made its way into the formula. The recall is for 12.9-ounce cans of Pro-Sobi formula that were distributed in the U.S., Guam, and Puerto Rico. Hannah is next with the national weather forecast.
Taking a look at our national forecast, the main story is a big snowstorm named Olive making its way across the United States. It will start on the western part of the United States, and this will be what we will be seeing this week. We can see Jackson seeing 3 to 5 inches of snow, as well as Billings, Montana, Aspen, 8 to 12 inches, Durango 12 to 18 inches of snow, and here in New Mexico, Taos seeing 8 to 12 inches of snow. In my next map, we can look at northern New Mexico and the snowfall that they will be seeing through tomorrow. We can see Chama 8 to 12 inches, Red River 12 to 18 inches of snow, and close to us here in Las Cruces, 6 to 8 inches in Ruidoso. In my next map, we're going to take it down to southern New Mexico, see a look at those snow totals. We can see Gila Hot Springs will be seeing 4 to 6 inches, Silver City 1 to 2 inches, and out in Three Rivers will be seeing 8 to 12 inches of snow. In my next map, we are under that wind advisory starting today, midnight, going into tomorrow, 8 p.m. Wednesday. Very windy conditions. We'll be seeing gusts up to 75 miles per hour. So all of this highlighted in yellow. We are in that high wind advisory, so make sure to, if you have patio furniture out, bring that inside and bring your plants inside as well. Taking a look at my next map, I'm going to give you some tips on driving in those strong winds. Maintain a safe distance from high-profile vehicles, semis when you're on the freeway. Keep a firm grip on the wheel with both hands. Look out for falling trees and debris, and use caution on bridges and overpasses. That's all I have for your national weather. I'll be back with you New Mexico temperatures right after the break. Welcome back to News 22 Tuesday. Let's look at those current temperatures across New Mexico. Currently in Farmington, we have 45 degrees, Socorro 56 degrees, Roswell looking at 61 degrees right now, here in Las Cruces 56, and out in Deming we're looking at 53 degrees. Looking at tomorrow, very windy across our state. We're going to be looking at 39 degrees in Santa Fe for your high, Roswell 63 degrees, Ruidoso chilly at 38 degrees. Here in Las Cruces we'll be seeing 60 degrees, and out in Deming 51 degrees. Taking a look at our neighboring cities tonight, in Alamogordo we'll be seeing a low with showers of 40 degrees and a high tomorrow of 54 degrees. Taking a look at Truth or Consequences tonight, low of 40, windy conditions tomorrow with a high of 53 degrees. Silver City, showers tonight, low of 33 degrees, windy conditions tomorrow with a high of 41 degrees. Taking it to Las Cruces tonight, we could see some possible showers, low of 41 degrees, windy conditions, also possible showers tomorrow with a high of 60 degrees. That's all I have for New Mexico temperatures. Back to the desk for more news.
Thanks, Hannah. A famous Chicano artist from El Paso has an exhibition right here in Las Cruces. The works of Gaspar Enriquez are on display at the Las Cruces Museum of Art. It's called Chicano Pride and Chicano Soul. The exhibit opened on February 3rd will be there till May 6th. It highlights Enriquez's airbrush portraits, which the artist says will showcase struggles of Chicano people who grew up in border towns.
So I hope that my work will withstand the time that we're in, and Chicanos and or Mexican Americans will have pride in who they are.
If you're interested in seeing Gaspar Enriquez's art, you can visit the Las Cruces Museum of Art Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Admission is. And Michael Chavez is next with sports.
Thanks, Samantha. Coming up in sports, the Aggies swimming team is preparing for their upcoming WAC tournament. But you can toss that remote because News22 Sports is next.
This is KRWG-TV News 22 Sports.
Welcome back. I'm Michael Chavez, and let's talk sports. Starting opening weekend undefeated is the best thing that a team could hope for. At least, that's what Bellarmine is saying now. The Aggies fell to the Knights in all three of their opening games this past weekend here at the SKU. NMSU fell on Friday 7-2, then on Saturday 8-1, and 10-9 in extra innings on Sunday. The Aggies got outscored 25-12 throughout their weekend and will try and bounce back this upcoming weekend. The Aggies will be in the Sugar Land Classic in Sugar Land, Texas, starting this Friday against Lamar. Good thing for the NMSU swim team, they won't have to travel far for the WAC tournament. The women will travel to Pharr, Texas for the WAC championships happening on Wednesday and running all the way through Saturday. Trying to add on to an already good year, the Aggies are looking to capture their first title with the help of being in the top 5 across 12 different events during WAC play this season. Rebounding off 4 tough losses, the NMSU softball team is looking to heat up. The Aggies had a tough stretch of losing 4 games in a row after starting opening weekend 3-1, but they seem to have flipped a switch, winning their last 2 games of the weekend against UTSA and Texas State. The women will now look forward to the Troy Cox Classic, which starts Friday against up-north rival New Mexico at 9 a.m. The preseason is treating the NMSU women's track and field team relatively nicely. The Aggies were picked as WAC favorites in the coaches poll for this upcoming 2023 season. The women have been selected with this honor the last 2 years out of 3. However, it's been 3 years since the Aggies claimed a WAC championship. With many new faces along with a new head coach in Joseph Rath, Aggie fans have something very special to look forward with this team. And that's all for sports tonight. Join us for more sports action tomorrow. But still ahead on News22, Hannah will be back to take a look at your 5-day forecast. But first, McDonald's fans have been waiting all year. More on this when News22 continues.
Let's take a look at our top stories. Prosecutors in New Mexico have downgraded the manslaughter charges against Alec Baldwin in the Rush shooting. Alan Arshoho has been named New Mexico State University's new provost and chief academic officer, and more than 1 in 5 kids and adolescents around the world show signs of disordered eating.
Just in time for St. Patrick's Day, McDonald's is bringing back its popular Shamrock Shake. The holiday-themed Shamrock Shake debuted in 1970. It was so popular, McDonald's released a second version of the shake in 2020, mixed with crushed Oreo cookies. Both drinks are available at participating McDonald's restaurants nationwide. If you want one, you better hurry. The sweet treats will only be available while supplies last.
Now let's take a look at our 5-day forecast.
Taking a look at our 5-day forecast, we're going to see those 70s Friday and Saturday, high of 70 Friday and a 74 on Saturday. Back to the desk to end us off.
And that's all for News22 Tuesday. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Tune in tomorrow night for more news. I'm Ben Schlittler.
And I'm Samantha Dates, and from the whole News22 team, Ben, Hannah, Michael, and myself, good night.
This news brief in Español is brought to you by Noticias 22, Spanish language news for southern New Mexico and West Texas. Noticias 22.
Buen día, soy Jorge Fonseca con las breves de hoy. La sentencia al hombre del tiroteo de Planet Fitness de hace 2 años ha sido retrasada debido a que el juez solicitó un reporte por parte del Departamento Correccional de Nuevo México. El hombre de 29 años, José Daniel Chávez, había disparado hacia una mujer el 3 de agosto de 2021 en un Planet Fitness localizado en la calle El Paseo. Chávez se declaró culpable y desde entonces se encuentra encarcelado. El juez tenía contemplado darle una sentencia de 12 años por el tiroteo, pero por su declaración esta puede ser reducida. Aún la sentencia está por ser determinada. El canciller Dan Arvizu de la Universidad Estatal de Nuevo México anunció que Alan Shoho será el nuevo rector y director académico para la universidad. Ahora, el Dr. Shoho tomará la posición para el 17 de abril de este año y es reconocido por tener extensa experiencia como administrador e investigador en áreas de educación y justicia social. Esto en la Universidad de Wisconsin-Milwaukee, Universidad de Texas en San Antonio y otras universidades. Cabe recordar que el pasado rector y director John Floros abandonó su puesto el 7 de enero del año pasado, dejando al canciller Arvizu como el único líder del campus principal y del sistema de NMSU. Eso ha sido todo por mi parte. Muchas gracias y que tengan una bonita noche.